Can help me to. Hello, hi, good evening. Hi everyone. Let's see, we see some familiar faces. Hello. Okay. Please give us a moment. We're going to start out some technical stuff first. Okay, welcome everyone. We've got quite a few participants today. Welcome to the third session of the Inclusive Dementia-Friendly Community webinar series. My name is Stephanie, I'm your Zoom host, and together with my colleagues Zoa, Ivan, Esther, and our two special guests who are our caregivers, Manila and Lisa, I'd like to welcome you to a third session today, and the stories of self-care in the midst of COVID-19. That's our session today. And next slide, please, Ivan. Okay, all right. So before we start, we would like to invite our Zoomers to really observe 6 etiquettes. So really to keep mute when you're not speaking. And at the same time, if you have questions or comments, you're welcome to write in the chat box, as well as try to keep your questions concise so we can quickly answer those questions as well. And also to keep your video on, also to note that this session will be recorded. And also if you have learned something along the way, just to keep some notes. And towards the end of the session, we have a quick feedback. So we really appreciate if you give us some feedback as well. Okay, next session, next one please, Ivan. Thank you. All right, so stories of self-care. So stories of self-care in the midst of COVID-19. And today we have Esther, Ivan, who are social workers from Care Corner Senior Services, together with Medulla and also Lisa, our caregivers. Okay, so let's take a look at what our lovely program is today. And we're starting with really a poll to get to know you better, and really who and what is CRES. And next slide, please, Ivan. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with a poll to get to know you better, and who and what is CRES. And also our 2 lovely stories of caregivers like yourself caring for their loved ones with dementia, and a question answer segment. Also a little bit of information about our caregiver support group. All right, so now that most of the participants have joined us, we can start the session proper. So here now is Ivan, who will be facilitating the Getting to Know You segment and sharing with you more about what CRES is. Okay. All right, over to you, Ivan.
Thank you, Stephanie. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Ivan from Fresh Care Corner at Tock. I'm so sorry that today I have wearing a mask. You can't see my full face because I'm at the premises of one of the caregivers that's sharing the stories later today. But before we go to the main dish for tonight, just want to have this warm-up exercise with everyone present here. So what we're going to do now, we're going to have a poll. So just want to know the profile of the participants that we have here. So you should be able to see a poll in front of you now. You will take some time to just do out the poll. So you have questions. The first question, are you a caregiver to someone with dementia? Secondly, how many years of caregiving experiences do you have? Then thirdly, are you currently attending any caregiver support group? Let's give ourselves another 1 minute to do this poll. So far we have 44 persons here. 17 of you have answered, 20 so far, so about half of it. Thanks, Susan, for the reply. Just so you see at the beginning of the caregiver journey. Okay, we have 28 of you all answered the poll. Okay, anyone of you want to have last 30 seconds to do the poll? The poll will end soon. So I keep a countdown. 10 seconds left. Okay, let's take a look at the poll results. So the first question, are you a caregiver to someone with dementia? So there's 11 of you answered here, caregivers, and 17 of you are not. And in terms of how many years of caregiving experience do you have? So about 15 of you are less than a year. 9 of you have caregiving experiences of 1 to 5 years old, 5 years. And 2 of you actually is 6 to 10 years. And 2 of you have caregiving experiences of more than 10 years. So I believe it's a good opportunity. We can all learn from each other, be it how many years of experience, caregiving experiences that you have. And lastly, are you currently attending any caregiver support group? So 5 of you are attending. So another 23 are no. So hopefully by the end of this sharing, they will be able to maybe you have more knowledge of attending one caregiver support group, or to really have the interest to find out more. Okay, so I take this time now before we have the caregivers to come to just share about where Esther and myself are currently in the department in Caregiver Senior Services. So actually we are social workers in CRES, which stands for Community Resource Engagement and Support Team. So we are one of the CRES providers in Singapore. They're serving the region in Toa Payoh, Potong Pasir, and Upper Macpherson. So you do not know CRES. So what CRES does actually, what we do, we actually increase public awareness of dementia or mental health by organizing outreach events to residents and their caregivers. And besides that, we also provide basic emotional support and dementia, mental health information, service linkage, and follow-up with client and caregivers. So yeah, as you can see from the photos, is one is a pre-COVID days, how the event is being held. So this one is actually the CNY event in January this year. So you can see myself at the booth. But I told 10 months later, you can see all of us are now in a different pace, which you can see from the photo behind. We actually have a talk that's organized over Zoom. So the talk that we have is actually on social isolation, which is very much a topic that was amplified due to the COVID-19 circuit breaker period. Next slide, please, Steph. So we just want to share some of the topics that we do. So as mentioned initially, it was about dementia, knowing the signs and symptoms of dementia. I believe Ivan from Lien has conducted the session, the first one for this series. Next is actually emotional regulation, grief and loss, and depression, signs and symptoms of depression, and ABCs to improve our mental health. So lastly, because of the needs on the ground, we actually have the newest topic that we have, the social isolation. So we are looking forward to have more other talks, and of course, we are glad to have been invited for this talk and as representing CRES. And yeah, today we're going to share about self-care tips. But I think self-care tips for caregivers, nothing beats having the caregivers themselves to share about their own self-care tips to, which is their personal experiences, rather than hearing the two social workers who are professionals, they're talking about all the knowledge, right? Yeah, I think it would be most nice to have the caregivers to share the self-care tips. Okay, so without further ado, we shall now pass the time to the caregivers. Before that, let's introduce the first caregiver first. So her name is Miss Manuela. And she's actually sitting right beside me. So yeah, share the time to her. This is Manuela.
Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm Manuela, Filipina, 63 years old. I work with myself 12 years already. She's a diabetic patient and mild dementia. I look after since until now. She's diabetic mellitus. Then I look after, I'm alone here in this house. And she amputated the legs in December 25, 2010. And she's taking all the insulin and medication every day. And always I bring him for bathing, carrying everything, going for hospital appointment. And sometimes we're going out to go and sell tissue to get some financial help. So I try my best to help my boss until the government still want me to look after him. It's not easy to look after because I'm alone here. I feel very depressed sometimes, but I can manage to handle it. Until now, I'm still continuing to take care of him. So at this time, it's not easy because it's become older and older. And sometimes as a patient, his body sometimes very angry like that, but normally like that because it's a lot of problems issue. So I can manage all this daytime to time. Thank you for Mr. Ivan to come and see us so that we can share some of our difficult situation.
Yes. So thanks Manuela for the introduction. So I also take this opportunity to see, this is actually the room of Mr. Kumaran. So he's actually here also with us, the caregiver. Mr. Kumaran, you want to say hi to everybody here?
Hello.
Yes, just wave your hand. Yeah. Yeah, it's Mr. Kumaran.
Yeah.
So Mr. Kumaran is actually my client. So Manuela is the caregiver. And so I'm very privileged to ask her to come and share her self-care tips with all of you. So we have Miss Esther, the social worker, who will be facilitating this this session with the other caregivers. Over to you, Esther.
Thank you, Ivan. Yeah, just like to say thank you to everyone who set aside time to come to this webinar. We have heard a bit from Manuela. Yeah, so thank you, Manuela, for sharing with us a bit about yourself and also your sir. And I do hear that you face challenges in taking care of him. Yeah, so maybe you could also share with us, especially during this COVID-19 season, like, are there additional challenges that you face as well?
For this COVID-19, I share with you to like we take care ourselves, especially my boss, because this COVID-19 is a very dangerous type of sickness. We don't know where it is, so we take care ourselves because especially for these elderly people, only I can tell regarding this COVID-19.
So safety-wise is even more important during this period for you and your sir. Yeah. Okay. Actually, have you heard of self-care before?
Mm,
Like, what are your thoughts towards self-care?
self-care, yeah, because
Mm.
we at this time we need the caregiver support because with this situation it's very difficult situation, right? So we need support for this situation. We need money, and especially for the patient. No, we cannot go out. We need something, everything. So it's very difficult for us, especially in our situation now, because I handle alone in this situation. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what are some ways that you actually care for yourself during this caregiving that you have towards yourself?
Yeah, we take care ourselves because if we, in case we sick out, it's not easy because if my son is sick and I'm sick, what will happen to us? So we take care ourselves. So we avoid going out in public, but sometimes we go out to see outside because it's a bit difficult for the patient not to stay at home and then you cannot see anything. Yeah, so we go out to see the people outside and then come back home.
So I hear that you still spend some a bit of time outside
Yeah.
while maintaining safety at the same time.
Yes.
Okay. Then but then as you are caregiving for your sir, right, I also hear that it's very stressful and difficult for you lah. Yeah. Are there ways which you help to manage this stress that you face in caregiving?
Yeah, sometimes we cannot take it because it's really very stressful. But I can handle it. I'm talking to like elderly people, my friends, to sharing what happening to me and myself so that I feel better and better to concentrate what I'm doing. Because if I keep it in my heart, I feel I cannot concentrate. I feel nervous also. But if I share to people already, they give me advice, okay, never mind, God will bless you because you're doing all this help to your boss. So better continue to help him because he's alone. You understand his situation at this time because you work for him very long period. So I can manage to handle it until I can because he's alone.
Yeah, I do hear that it can be quite helpless for you lah. I mean, especially coming from a foreign country
Yeah,
and taking care of yourself.
yes, it's not easy, Lisa, to far away from your family, but no choice. So we need money also for our family as well as ourselves become older and older also. But I like to help people, especially for the elderly.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, one reason why you continue to do this job is because of your livelihood, but the other thing that keeps you going on is your heart for the elderly.
That's why I tell everybody, even outsider also, I'm trying my best to look after myself until the government still want me to look after him. That is what I always talk to myself. Even I have a lot of problems also. I still with him. Wherever he goes, wherever we are, I still with him.
How long have you been working with your sir?
How long?
Yeah.
12 years.
12 years.
Yes.
Okay. So these 12 years you have been managing by talking to your friends who fellow helpers in Singapore.
Sometimes fellow helpers, but most of the elderly, I'm talking to them.
Oh, other elderly.
I seldom going out already to meet all these friends. I meet only the Singaporean people, elderly people, They want to talk, sharing. So we always talk with them. Sometimes we talk in Central. Ivan see me like that there, talking with them to make myself a bit happy and bring up all the stress I have.
So talking to people help you relieve all the stress and the tension, all the negative feelings inside of you.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I believe that to everyone who is listening, yeah, we do agree that for Manula who is a helper, but serving 12 years with her sir, right, she really serves beyond her call of duty. And we also want to use this platform to affirm her on that. Actually, in fact, right, she has won a Caregiver award, yeah, during the World Diabetes Day in 2019. Yeah, so maybe you would just like to use this chance for those who are listening to also give her some words of encouragement. Yeah, because for her, it can be difficult, like being a helper, being away from her family as well, but she has persisted for 12 years already. Yeah, and it's not common to have this kind of heart of compassion towards elderly lah. Yeah, and we want to affirm that. So maybe we can just take a look at the comments.
So thanks for sharing, Suya. There's some encouraging words for Manula. She says, "Thank you, Manula. You are so compassionate, and it's not easy to handle an amputee patient." And we have Hui Ping, who says, "Manula, thank you for persevering and also putting hard work to serve yourself." And Lisa says, "Manula, you are a gem. Keep up the good work." Well, all the comments are coming in. And Susan Chang says, "Well done. Really admire your patience and perseverance." And Janet Cole says, "Well done, Manula. Blessings." And we have Jacinda, who says, "Take care, Manula. Thank you for your selfless giving." And lastly, Angie Sun, "Manula, you are a star, a bright one, especially you have to be away from your family." So thank you all for, we have one more from Gabby. "Manula, I'm a caregiver too and understand how challenging and painful it can be at times. Great job and for persevering so many years." Thank you all for your encouraging words for Manula.
Yes, actually, there was something else which Manula shared with us about self-care. Manula, if you remember, you said something about self-care, about it not being a selfish act. Can you share with us more about that?
Self-care is a selfish indeed lah. And taking care of ourselves, number one is the priority, and especially time to time in this important month.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that for a caregiver, sometimes caring for oneself can be viewed as being selfish, and some people may feel guilty about it. But Manula, as she shared, it is important for caregivers to also care for themselves so that they can care for their loved ones as well. Yep. So Manula, is there anything that you would like to share to the caregivers or like the people in this webinar?
To all caregivers, we love and care to our employer or sir. You show the care and love, patient understanding to them. As and like family members, because they give them a happy life in this end of their life, because they're older already. So give them support to all their employers and the patient with their family members. more patient to them, more love and care. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Manila.
And
Yeah, keep up the good job.
thank you. Yeah. I
Yeah.
continue
Yeah.
until I can.
Okay. Then so thank you, Manila, for sharing with us. We will move on to Lisa. Yeah, we believe that every caregiving journey is unique and different. So let's hear from her, her part of caregiving. So Lisa, can you share with us about yourself, your mom, and also briefly about how your caregiving journey is like?
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa. The photo you see, that's my mom. My mom actually has dementia and is currently in the advanced stage. She has been diagnosed with dementia for about 10 years now. She needs help with everything from eating to showering to diaper change, assisted walking, etc. And she's at this stage where she cannot recognize any one of her family members now. So my caregiving journey of taking care of my mom has been a tough one. It's like I can describe it like a roller coaster ride. Many ups and downs, actually more downs than up most of the time. I remember many years back when my mom was in her mid stage of dementia, it was really very challenging and stressful to take care of her. She will test every one patient on a daily basis, and then coupled with her disrupted sleep patterns, she will wake up everybody in the household in the middle of the night, many times every night. And then her demonstration of violence, she refused to shower, she refused to change, she always want to wear back the same clothes. And then we had to take care of her big and small business. Then she would keep eating non-stop, ransacking the fridge like 10 times a day, etc., etc. So it has been having very challenging and actually stressful also to take care of her. That's my mom at the moment, yeah.
So what were the effects of these challenges on you personally?
Personally, I think at one stage, because my mom was in the mid stage of her dementia, because she's very active at the time, I think I was, almost depressed, and I suffered from insomnia. I remember sometimes when I was working, I can be staring at my computer, and then I don't know, for any reason, I would start crying in front of my computer, even in the office. I was quite desperate and stressed out. So actually at one point of time, I was contemplating seeing a psychiatrist and going on medication. So that was the side effect the caregiving journey has on me lah, and on my family members, yeah.
Yeah, it must have been a very difficult and also a dark period in your life. Was there a turning point for you during that season then?
I think the turning point, yeah, I found strength with my faith lah. I pray a lot, and God always sent help along the way. I think most importantly, like what Manuela shared, I think getting support from friends and social support also gave me the strength to go on. Like sometimes a kind word or a pat on the shoulder from a friend or from a colleague, I think it helps. So it really helps, like talking about it, a place you can ventilate and talk about it. And especially when you talk to people who are going through the same journey as you, somehow it gives you, it has a comforting effect on me lah. So I remember one time when I was talking to an ex-colleague, somebody who I can confide with. So he told me, Lisa, you have done a good job already of taking care of mom. Please do not be too harsh on yourself. So those words actually kind of hit me at that point of time. It made me realize that I should not go down the guilt road of. Sometimes when I'm taking care of my mom, I feel guilty because I will lose my cool. I will lose my patience. Sometimes I get so angry with her. I feel like even shaking her and things like that. Then when I look back, then I felt bad about it because I actually felt guilty when I lose my cool and my patience with her when I was taking care of her. Yeah. And then also at a point of time, actually, we did contemplate because it's really very tiring. I couldn't take care of her anymore. I did contemplate thinking of putting my mom in a nursing home. Actually, there's nothing wrong with that actually, but I felt so guilty about it. actually at the bottom of my heart, as long as we know that for me now I recognize that as long as we know that we are trying our best and what we are doing is for the best of our family members and our loved one, I think that is good enough. And we shouldn't feel guilty about it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I hear the theme of guilt that is very common in your journey as a caregiver. So you mentioned that your friend, through the encouraging words of your friend, it helped you to walk out of that that phase where you're feeling guilty about yourself lah.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Okay. But then now that you are on this side, like where you have processed through, what do you think about these feelings of guilt as caregivers face them?
I think we shouldn't dwell on it now because the caregiving journey is actually sometimes like I mentioned, for me, it's like a roller coaster, right? A lot of down. So when you're down there, right, you really have a lot of negative feelings. You're frustrated, you're tired, you're emotionally drained. Everything is quite negative. But if you, on top of that, you still look on guilt, I think it's not a good thing. So for me, I think self-care is really very important. And taking away guilt also, it helps. And then talking to people, talking with people who are going through the same thing also help, because actually when you're talking to people who are going through the same journey as you, they give you creative ideas. Oh yeah, my mom have the same issue. Oh, you're doing it like that. Maybe I can try it out. So then when you try it out, it works, right? It gives you the motivation. Yeah, there's a lot of tips and tricks actually you can learn from people around you when you're talking to people. And also the fact that people are going through the same journey as you, give me a comforting thought that I'm not alone in this journey.
Perhaps Lisa, you want to share with us a more memorable tip that you learned from other caregivers?
Oh yeah, I remember I was talking to a friend. Her dad was also having dementia, so her dad liked to ransack the fridge like so many times, and then sometimes he will even eat, take the raw meat from the fridge and then eat it. So what happened is that I was thinking, wow, my mom also does that at one point of time. She will ransack the fridge 10 times a day. She will take up the thing, I will put it back. She'll take it out and then I'll put it back again. It was really so frustrating. So my friend did something I thought was quite interesting. Her dad did exactly the same thing. So she shifted her fridge from her kitchen into the bedroom. So the dad cannot find the fridge in the kitchen anymore. So the dad stopped ransacking the fridge. So it also started me thinking, how come I never thought of that? So actually talking to people, it gives you a very good idea as to how to handle your dementia loved one at home. So this is one of the tricks that I learned. I said, we need to really think out of our box, learning from each other how to take care of our loved one.
So talking with other people help to broaden your perspectives.
Yeah, it does. And then it also give you like, I can do that also. Yeah, correct.
I'm just wondering, like, perhaps there may be some people who don't really have that much people whom they know who are going through the same things as them, like those who also are caregivers. Like, what would you say that how could they get to know people who are also going through the same thing?
Like for instance, you mentioned the support group, right? I think that's really a good thing, because that's where you know that most of the people in the support group, they probably have someone in the family, have a loved one who have dementia. Yeah, because people who, I would think that people who are journeying the same, like you have somebody at home, right, with dementia, right, you kind of can identify like what they are talking about. Like Manuela was sharing about her journey of taking care of her sir, how heartbreaking it is, and sometimes how frustrating. I actually can identify with her, because those are the things that I felt also when I was taking care of my mom. So the support group does help, because you're like holding each other hand, going through the journey together, and you don't feel so alone, no.
So the knowledge of not being alone in your struggles and other people are going through the same thing, makes it more bearable in that sense, and also that you can reach out to ask for help.
Correct. And also learning from each other, tips and tricks, or maybe which diaper is better, which cream is better.
Okay.
Which maybe you can explore daycare center. You know, there are actually a lot of avenues that can help us. We just need to learn from one another, because sometimes the other person have really gone through this whole cycle. They already know, and they can give you very good tips. I find that. Yeah, it's really learning from one another. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's good that you also have a spirit of learning from other people as well, and being open to hearing from others. Yeah. Are there other methods of self-care that help you?
Method of self-care, I think at one point, because I couldn't sleep well, I was suffering from insomnia. So I took up exercise. I think that helps me a lot, because I realized that when I was exercising in the gym for 1 hour, actually when I'm exercising, I really totally forgot about my mom, because sometimes when I'm working, or when I'm just quieting, when I'm quiet, or even before I sleep, I will start thinking about my mom, because she just she just like, my thoughts is just full of her, because it's so tiring. But I think exercising does help, because that 1 hour, I really totally forgot about her. Then when I exercise, right, I'm tired. I come back, I can sleep better. And then, yeah, and also exercising kind of give you the kind of, will give you a happy hormone, help you to release happy hormone. I think it helps me. Exercising does help me. And talking to people, a place to ventilate.
Yeah, glad that you found a method of self-care that is suitable for you, and you find that it helps you.
Yeah, correct.
Is there anything that you would like to encourage the other caregivers in this webinar?
I would say really persevere on. It's like Manuela also said that they are really at their end of life already. And my mom is about 10 years already. I see her deteriorating from mid dementia to now advanced stage of dementia. She's very, very different now. The struggles I face with her, the challenges I face with taking care of her is very different now, like as compared to 5 years ago. Just really persevere, don't give up. Yeah, and also self-care is very important now, because we have to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of our loved ones. And if we really cannot handle them, then maybe we need to seek professional help to take care of them.
Yeah, so I hear from you that change is possible lah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that the perseverance has taught you different things throughout this journey.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing with us your journey, so that you will be a blessing to others. We can invite the audience to share their words of encouragement to us. I think there are quite a few, so maybe hold on for a while. So is there any difficulty?
Sorry. Yep, so we have Nancy, who actually identified with Lisa sharing. She understands your emotions fully, as she underwent the same when she was looking after her aged father who just passed on last year. So she thank you for sharing. Surya says, great sharing, Lisa. Looking after a mother, the one who brought you into this world, is the greatest blessing. And how blessed
you are, where people are institutionalizing parents now. Keep your passion and compassion going. Always remember to have some respite to prevent burnout. Then we have Wong Hui Ping, who says that you are creative to adapt and to protect and persevere and for your sanity. And Po Ling, who says, thank you very much, Lisa, for your sharing. You are great. Do stay strong, well, and brave, and also join interest group and support group. And we have Angie, who says, Lisa, thank you for your sharing. I've never thought of attending support group, but I'm glad you've given me a different perspective of it. And we have Xiu Yet, who says, Lisa, thank God that you have stayed positive. And Caroline, who says, thank you, Lisa, for sharing. Can identify with you about the fridge raiding. Then we have Susan, who says, you are so brave. And also Jacinta, who says, thank you, Lisa. Your mom will feel your love, though she can't express it. The guilt you mentioned is so real. Thank you for sharing how you managed to bounce back. Then I'll just share one more from Gabby. Thank you, Lisa, for great sharing experience, especially on the guilt part where I do feel at times and had to overcome by reassuring myself that it's fine to feel that way and I would do better next time. It really helps to have people around to speak to and support us emotionally and physically. Okay. Lastly, we have from Janet. Thank you so much, Lisa, for your beautiful sharing of your mom. Good job.
I think we have one question for Lisa from Wong Hui Ping.
Yeah. So the question is, Lisa, what are some caregiving tips that you are learning from the caregiver support group too?
A tip, okay, maybe I not from the caregiving support group, but rather the tip I learned from somebody who is also a caregiver. Actually talking to people, it does help a lot to a lot of people who are doing caregiving. Because there's one time I remember I spoke to my uncle. My uncle actually is taking care of my auntie. She has Parkinson's disease. I see him once in a while during Chinese New Year and during the holiday season. Then every time when I see him, he's always looking so tired. Then at the point of time, actually, I have a helper to take care of my mom, but my mom is in the mid stage of dementia and she's very, very active. Every day she's testing our patient. So my uncle at that point of time, he doesn't have any helper and he looks so tired. Then we keep telling him, hey, maybe you need to get a helper, at least an extra pair of hands at home will help you a long way. Sometimes you want to go out, your helper can take care. Then there's one fine Chinese New Year, he came to my house. Then I look at my uncle, how come he looks so different? He looks so cheerful now. And he is very different. So I asked him, hey, uncle, how come now you look so different? Your countenance is so different and you look more positive. Then he was telling me that once upon a time, he doesn't want to get any helper because he finds that helpers he doesn't like people staying at his house that is not family members. At the point of time when I saw him, when he was so happy, he actually have 2 helpers. He actually from 0 helper to 2 helpers to help him to take care of his wife, which is my auntie. So I saw a huge difference in my uncle. I said, wow, he employed 2 helpers to take care of my auntie. And he looked so relaxed and he looked as if he's able to do other things. So at that point of time, I was also struggling very hard because I feel like even with the help of 1 helper, I can't take care of my mom anymore because I was so drained and almost depressed. So it was between putting my mom in a nursing home or maybe try out a 2nd helper. So actually talking to my uncle gave me the idea, hey, maybe I can also follow his footsteps. Hey, maybe I can try to hire a 2nd helper and then see how it works out before I think of other options for my mom. So actually, that's the idea. When I talked to him, I got the idea from him. I said, hey, maybe I can try having a 2 helper to take care of my mom. So I explored the idea. It wasn't easy initially because having 2 helpers under the same household and it's not an easy thing as well because it's not easy to manage 2 helpers. But it has been about 3 years now that I had 2 helpers to take care of my mom. I would say that it's really helping me because instead of putting my mom in a nursing home, I'm now able to take care of her with the help of 2 helpers at home. So for me, I feel that talking to people, and it helps, it give you idea as to, maybe instead of feeling so trapped in the situation, maybe I can look beyond this. Yeah, maybe these tips and tricks I can also apply for me as well. So for me, talking to people, attending support group helps because it gives me idea on how I can think out of my box. Because sometimes I can't think beyond what I'm thinking, but talking to people will give me good ideas. This is one of the things that I learned from talking with people.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions that the audience may have for the 2 caregivers? The caregivers for a very long time, so very experienced. So if there's anything you would like to check in with them, you can just post it in the chat. Maybe you can just wait a while.
Yeah, so we have a question from Susan to ask about how do we sign up for the caregiver support group. Esther, would you like to sort of share that later on?
Yeah, sure. I'll be going into that part later regarding the support group. Yeah, maybe we can just share on the slides. Then if there are any further questions, then we can answer it along the way.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Yes, okay. So this is just a resource sharing that Care Corner currently has dementia caregiver support group where we meet up monthly through the Zoom platform, especially because now it's during the COVID season. So we are having this every month on around the mid-month on Wednesday night, 1.5 hours in the evening. So this is a picture of one of our sessions that we conducted over Zoom. Yeah, okay, next. Okay, I see a question from Jade. Yeah, maybe we'll answer that a bit later. Hold on. Yeah, okay, so for next year, right, we do have plans for 2 different groups. The first one being called Embarking the Journey, where it is aimed for people who are starting off the journey or just keen to learn more about foundational knowledge regarding caregiving for dementia. Yep, so it will be across 3 months on alternate weeks, and altogether there will be 5 sessions, about 1.5 hours per session. So the caregivers are encouraged to attend all the sessions so that to maximize their learning through this course. Okay, we do have another group in the next slide, which is called Journeying Together. So why we have 2 different groups is actually to tailor to the different needs of caregivers. For this one, there is more flexibility involved where the caregivers can just join when they are available. Yeah, this group itself is less frequent, so it's around 2 sessions per quarter year. So altogether 6 sessions in a year. And the topics are more varied and may change periodically, whereas for the first group, the topics are set, being foundational kind of knowledge. Yeah, so for details for all of these, you can go to the next slide. Yeah, you can contact myself, Esther, at this number, or you can email us at our general email. And alternatively, you can scan this QR code to register for the group. If you have other questions, you can just feel free to check in with us. Yeah, okay. Maybe we can get back to Jade's question.
Yeah, so Jay's question is, how do I tell my dementia mother of dementia, that she needs a helper to be with her? And is this question for Lisa, Manula, Ivan, or Esther?
Lisa, would you like to give it a try?
I don't really know how to answer that because I stay with my mom. So when I employ my helper, my mom has no choice. She has to get used to it. Yeah. So initially, of course, she's a bit resistant, but after a while, you know, slowly she got used to the idea lah. I think for dementia patients, they are very routine. They like to settle down in a routine. So once it comes into a routine and a pattern, right, she will accept the helper as part of a routine. That's how I incorporate how I actually hired one helper to take care of my mom. But when the second helper come in, is a different story because my mom was actually from the mid stage going down to advanced stage. So there's a lot of things she really does not register or know anymore. Yeah. So I think it's a matter of them getting used. They will, because it's a routine for them. They will settle into a routine.
Jade, I hope that was encouraging for you also, just to hear Lisa's affirmation also that, you know, things will naturally sort of fall into place as well. And really to persevere as well, like what Lisa said, persevere, right? Yeah. Are there any more questions? You can post it on the chat. We'll wait for a little while. If there are any more curiosities you would like to post to Lisa or to Manila or even to our social workers, you can write down in the chat. Okay, if not, maybe we will toggle back to the slides with Ivan. Okay, so this is our third webinar. We have two other webinar series by AWWA, and one is on the 1st of December and also the 8th of December. I want to encourage you to register as well for these two upcoming webinars as well. Yeah. Just before you leave, the next slide, we have a short feedback session. If you would, it would be very helpful if you could scan this QR code and give us a short feedback so we will know how to host the next few sessions and whether you like something similar as well also. Okay, we'll just pause for a minute and we'd like to thank you for joining us this evening. It was lovely to hear all the different comments. Any last words from Manula and Lisa?
What will you say?
Thank you very much to allow me to join this session. God bless you always.
Thank you, Manila. Lisa, any last words?
No, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Okay. Esther and Ivan, do you want to end off today's session?
yeah, similarly, just like to thank everyone for the time, and I hope that there was something that you all brought back for yourself. And yeah, so as caregivers, I know it's not easy for you all, but hope that you all find certain ways that you all will encourage yourself, and also self-care tips that will be helpful for you all.
Yes, for me, I just want to thank all the caregivers for attending today's session. And no, it's not easy taking out of your after a day hard work, be work from home or having to work in the office. So I just want to share a bit about Manuela. Actually, I've encouraged her to join us support group sessions even since last year. Because she had to take care of her sir, so she's unable to join. So we thank her for being able to avail herself for this sharing. Yeah, and initially she thought she's just sharing to fellow domestic workers in Singapore, but in fact it's other caregivers. So she's a bit yeah, nervous, but I think she did well today. Just want to appreciate and encourage her for today. Yeah, that's all for me. So look forward to have this caregiving journey. So knowing that you're not alone, okay, caregivers. Yeah, there's always support around. Thanks.
Okay, thank you everyone. Before we go, if we could, maybe we could put on our videos on and we'll stop the recording and probably take a group photo. Okay.